One-foot-flipper.
Hi, Paige here, the 1-foot-flipper. So, I was working today, just uploading the video that I made yesterday and working on shipping a few things. I was listening to the latest Trash for Cash podcast. I was about 50 minutes in, and I just about fell out of my chair because they started talking about me. And that just amazed me that I've taken the notice of anyone, really. And I got brought up 2 more times in that podcast, so you ought to check that out. It was a great one. Rally Roots was a guest member, appearance, or speaker. I'm not sure what you really call it, guest podcaster. Today, I think my main focus is going to be things that aren't as good as they used to be, or that I'm not going to be selling a lot anymore. But everybody also likes to see sales too, so let's go over a few of them. I sold that big 6-legged Warhammer demon thing that was in the last video for $75. If I figure out how to put a picture of things up, I'll put a picture of it right here. If I don't, that means I still don't know how to add things to videos. So why don't you tell me that in the comments? That sold for the full asking price of $75. Sold this incomplete Warhammer kit, $16.19. That was a 10% off offer. Sold this hat. I believe this was $18 plus shipping. It's Bass Pro Shop, Springfield, Missouri. I still don't know how to pick good hats, so I just tend to buy all of them whenever I can buy hats for $1 and there's a bunch of them. I just buy all of them, and then I lot the bad hats up together and I sell that off as a bad hat lot at $1 per hat, and those tend to still sell, so I even get rid of the junk that way. Eventually I'll learn how to properly pick hats, because I myself don't tend to wear hats. I've got a big head. I look funny with hats on. I sold a total of 8 records for a total of $45. All of these are newly listed today, and they sold almost immediately because I'm not a record expert. I don't know how to really grade them, so I just tend to list them at the bottom of the market so they sell fast. Traffic, the low spark of high-heeled boys. Frampton comes alive. Look at Frampton on that cover. He looks like he's definitely coming alive somehow. I've always loved this album cover. Supertramp, Breakfast in America. REO Speedwagon 2. Billy Joel, The Stranger. The Rolling Stones. Goat's Head, I believe is the name of this one. Deep Purple, Who Do We Think We Are? Only 7 songs on this entire album. Deep Purple like those long songs. And Savoy Brown, Looking In. This one looks cool enough just to hang on the wall, honestly. I sold a little decal set for, I think, can't even find it, $8, I think. This is the $10 plus shipping, SS German World War II. We won't say what else that they were called. Oh, and on these newer ones, they don't have the offensive symbols on the newer decal sets anymore. So they just have the crosses. Now we're going to go back to the, am I ever going to learn how to put up pictures in the middle of the videos? I sold an Atari arcade monitor manual for the Sanyo 14-inch monitor, $6.29 plus shipping, right here, or make fun of me in the comments. And I sold some magic cards, and that's about it. My sales have actually been really slow since I changed my eBay name to 1-foot-flipper, so let's hope they pick back up. But I'm also cranking these videos out one after another, 1 per day, so these aren't like a 3-day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekend sales videos like you see from other people. All right, let's get into the main focus, which is going to be what I don't like to sell anymore. I've already talked about video games before. I only like cartridges now because discs just keep getting worse and worse. Of course, the bolos are still out there, but overall, nah, I don't bother to look through the disc games very much anymore. especially not at the flea market or if anybody else has had a chance to look at them. It's not always Cathy Time, even though it seems to be over at Old School Picker Shed. I can't sell Stampin' Up! And other crafting products for anything. I got a whole bunch based off seeing how well his sold with its Cathy Time. Got a bunch of Stampin' Up! And other stuff here. I listed about 100 items individually when I first got them. Over about a year, I sold 3. So I've started lotting them up into big lots, and they still don't sell. So not everything is good for everybody. Or here's some more of them. I have boxes and boxes of them. Maybe I've probably just got the wrong ones. Old School Picker probably has the good stuff, and I have the bad stuff. Because now that I think about it, he's always saying cut and emboss die set, while I have a bunch of heavy wooden rubber stamps. Not the greatest item because, well, they're very heavy. So shipping's expensive. Most of them aren't worth the cost of shipping. So you've got to lot them up and hope somebody will be interested in. This is an area, among others, that I will be avoiding in the future. UO, the urine off dog here, and I, we were having a discussion a few weeks ago, and we often talk usually at night. He was whispering in my ear. He said, Paige, DVDs are bad. Nobody buys them. You have hundreds of them in your store. You only sold 1 last month. And you know what? He was right. I went and I examined the DVD market, and I found that the average garden variety used DVD cannot be sold and shipped at a profit anymore, at all. You are better off having a plain shiny Pokemon card that's really only worth 10 cents than you are having a copy of The Notebook on DVD. So first thing I did was I took all my remaining DVDs down and I lotted them up by actor and by topic, and I put them out there dirt cheap, like a buck per DVD for the number of lot, and then, you know, media mail shipping, and I still couldn't sell any of them. DVDs are a category that are in decline so hard that you do not want to be ramping up into them. Sure, there are some bolos in DVDs, just like there are some bolo Beanie Babies out there. It doesn't mean that that should be your specialty. I went and I looked over Terapeak data, and the value of the average DVD, both new and used, it just is continually going down a couple of cents every single month. And do you really think that's going to come back? Are people suddenly going to start buying DVDs again? It took VHS, 20 years to come back, and even now it's really only coming back for sealed movies in very niche genres. And DVDs are a lot more common than VHS tapes are. People didn't really start buying movies in mass until DVDs came around. So that's something else that you just might not want to be putting into your store anymore. Definitely not in bulk. You got to pick and choose, and then you want to get rid of them like they are a ham sandwich that you bought yesterday and it was questionable then. You want those things gone. They are not going to gain value. They're only going to go down. In fact, that reminds me, recently I had a discussion with another seller on the eBay forums, which is a place I suggest you avoid because it's just a whole bunch of really unhappy sellers who are completely unwilling to change anything they do. Everything is the world's fault. Everything is eBay's fault. It's never their fault. And it was about DVDs, this discussion. He was insisting that he wasn't getting sales because eBay was hiding his items and favoring the big sellers. Now, this small seller had a 2,000 item store. And when I looked at his items, guess what? Nothing was priced competitively at all. He had a lot of action figures every one of them at least $10 over what his competitors had for them. Then I go to look at his DVDs, and the one at the top of the list was Quigley Down Under, a used copy of Quigley Down Under. And you know what the gentleman wanted for this disc? He wanted $13 shipped. Now, this particular movie is available used, about $4 shipped from various charity sellers, or it's available $5 shipped brand new directly from the distributor of the movie. And when given this information, the gentleman simply said that no, none of that was true. The only reason that movie hasn't sold is because eBay is hiding his listings. The distributor of the movie isn't the distributor of the movie. They're hiding his listings, and if only they weren't, then that $13 Quigley Down Under DVD would sell. And over time, same gentleman chimed in on various other threads. Quite a period of time went by, because this didn't really happen weeks ago. This actually started months ago. And that Quigley Down Under DVD is still the same price in this gentleman's store. He's still on the eBay forums every day complaining about this or that and how nobody buys his items, and hasn't changed the price on a single one of them, because he knows what he's got. And that's the thing about eBay. Most eBay sellers are terrible. They know what they have. They won't change anything. They think that their item for some reason will sell when other people have the same item for less money. That might work in clothes where it's impossible to properly comparison shop, but that's not going to work for a Quigley Down Under DVD. That's not going to work for this box of Terminator Collector card game cards. By the way, sold 3 of these yesterday. That only works for things that are impossible to comparison shop, like glass, certain antiques in which people won't title them the same way, clothes. It's not going to work for something that it's easy to search for. Generally, when something's easy to search for, there's only going to be 2 kind of customers. The laziest customer in the world, who buys the very first one that pops up at the top of the screen, which is usually a heavily promoted listing, so you're paying for that, or everybody else who is going to search by lowest price first and buy the first one that doesn't have anything wrong with it. So which one of those types of customers are you? Which one of those types of sellers are you? And if you're a seller at all, and if you are a seller and you don't price your items lowest, I have to ask, when you buy things, what type of buyer are you? Something to think about. Since I was going up the steps anyway, I thought I'd break out of the resale a little bit and show you a little bit of something of my real life. This is one of my vehicles. This is a Dodge Ram 50 convertible lowrider truck. I had one of these when I was a teenager. And I spent 3 months in the hospital having dreams of that truck that I had when I was a teenager. So when I got out, I started looking for one. And we're gonna hop here. It took me an entire year for one of these things to show up, because the model I wanted, they stopped making in 1986, and it was made by Mitsubishi. I'm not going to say anything about Mitsubishi's products today, but their products that were designed in the 70s weren't great. And this design hails from the 70s. And I needed one that ran and drive and that had an automatic transmission. It took an entire year for a running, driving Mitsubishi built truck with an automatic transmission to show up anywhere within 1,000 miles of my house. And as soon as it did show up, I hopped right on it, and roughly 40 hours later, my brother-in-law and I were at the guy's house getting this truck. And thankfully the thing made it home, and the guy didn't sell it out from under me, even though he said he got about 30 other people inquire about it. He didn't raise the price, and he didn't sell it out from under me. Got it home. Some of my buddies helped me do the convertible top job, and I did I lowered it myself. I didn't do any of the dumb mods that the one I had when I was a kid had. So And my family has nicely been throwing trash in the back of it because it's wintertime, so I haven't driven it for months. The cover's off. The cover got taken off for some reason a few weeks ago, and now they've just been throwing stuff in the back. So that's the end of that. Made the mistake of hopping outside here on one leg. Let's see if I can get back in. Looks like I did successfully make it in the house, back into the house from the outside, hopping on one leg. I think to wrap it up, we've just really got a couple other small things to talk about. One, it's a viewer sale. Iron Butterfly in Agata Davida. This is bought from viewer Todd. Todd sells things on eBay. There should be a link to his store down in the link tree below. You can see that below. And I also added a Buy Me a Coffee link because somebody asked for that. I had heard people talk about that before, and I had no idea what that was. I had to look it up, and now I know what it is. Hey, thanks to all my subscribers. Like, subscribe, check out the link tree.